lójú pọ́rọ̀ mi ti dayọ̀ o. Ó dá mi lójú pọ́rọ̀ mi ti dayọ̀ o. Kò sóhun tó le tó ṣòro f'Olúwa. Kò sóhun tó le t'Olúwa ò lè.
Okay, this is the original chapel.
It used to be called Chapel of Martyrs. If you look at the crosses, see there are different shapes, different sizes, different shapes represent the crosses of the martyrs. The old church. And then the big one in the middle is the cross of Christ himself. There is a tradition that Peter was crucified on the cross turned upside down.
So that's that one.
That's this one.
Okay. And which cross is this one? The one that is.
Don't go in particular, but just that the variety shows different types of martyrs we've had in the history of the church.
And you said this was the original chapel.
This was the first chapel before the other one was built.
Tolúwa ò bá fún mi ṣe, ta ni yóò wá mú ṣẹlẹ̀? Tolúwa
On the facade of the church. Okay.
If you look at it very well, you go to a place like Benin, Robert Palace. This is what the Muslims have.
Okay.
You have this in Benin, you have it in Owo.
Okay, so.
You have it in Agbo. It's like a kind of sword that, or shield that the Yoruba's messenger carries.
And do you know the reason he has a pond around the perimeter?
I was just going to explain that. You enter the church through the waters of baptism. It's in the Acts of the Apostles. People heard the gospel preached to them. They presented themselves to be baptized. Dipped in the waters of baptism. And when it's the rite of baptism that initiates them, brings them into the church. So the same thing here. You enter the church through the waters of baptism.
What about the materials? You know,
All of these are African mud.
Is there like a significance between the materials and the Dominican order?
Not directly, but just to say that to depict the presence of the Dominican order in Africa, African materials are used. It's to depict what you may call an African expression. African presence of the Dominicans in Nigeria. To show that the way of life of the Dominicans can find a home in any culture.
Because the materials are very simple, you know, it's left unfinished. So I'm wondering if that relates to the Dominican order.
The fact that if you look at it, the building is unfinished. The church is an unfinished project. God is still molding the church. There's always something to add to it, maybe certain things to remove. The church is always in the process of being reformed. around the table of the Eucharist. Different from what you find in rectangular shape. This one will sit around the table of the Eucharist, will sit around the table of the supper of the Lord.